Hey, welcome back to Anti-King. I'm
far too sensitive.
Today we're returning to Underappreciated Careers, just in time for Father's Day, with one of the world's most beloved dads, or daddies, Matthew Lillard. Lillard has enjoyed a long, productive career. His versatility, which will be mentioned a lot here, has had him playing everything from murderers to beloved children's characters with the same believability. He's exemplified both professionalism and artistic integrity throughout, and has become one of the more beloved actors in all of Hollywood. But strangely, a lot of that feels like it comes with the benefit of hindsight. Despite being in some absolute monster productions, the general public's embrace of him has really only come in recent years. So sure, maybe this is cheating a little bit, because really, everyone loves Matthew Lillard. But I mean, hey, to my knowledge, he's never won any major awards, and I'd say there's few people that would call them their favorite actor, so why not take this opportunity to celebrate what I think has been quietly an extremely impressive body of work. Matthew Lillard was born in Lansing, Michigan on January 24th, 1970. He attended high school at Foothill High School in North Tustin, California. He also attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Pasadena, California, alongside fellow immaculately lovable actor Paul Rudd. At the age of 24 in 1994, Lillard was cast in his first major credited role in John Waters' black comedy Serial Mom. In 1995, he acted in 5 more movies, including what many would consider his breakout role in Lane Softly's Hackers. A friend of the channel also recommended his role as an abortion protester in the HBO special If These Walls Could Talk segment entitled 1996, and that friend was absolutely right. That was unsettling as hell. But all of these would pale in comparison to the huge change his career and life in general would take in 1996, when he was cast as Stu in Wes Craven's Scream. Scream was to horror in a lot of ways what Nevermind by Nirvana was to music at its time. Seemingly overnight, the entire genre changed as studio execs practically fell over themselves trying to churn out their own modern gothic MTV meta slasher, which ironically enough actually created one of Lillard's roles we'll talk about later. Scream changed everything, and it shook the entire horror community to its foundation. And this may be a little controversial, and I do say this with all due respect to the legendary Wes Craven, but all of those accolades, all of the praise and respect the cast and crew and studio received, every last bit of it would not have been possible without Matthew Lillard's performance. Lillard plays the role unhinged and contained at the same time. He somehow manages to find a balance between blatantly obvious killer and blatant red herring seamlessly. On repeat viewings, the subtleties he gives Stu throughout, particularly when he's not the focus of a particular scene, are impressive.
But wait! There's more!
The finale of that movie made that movie. It is an absolute fever dream, and the deranged tone Lillard sets is only matched by the sympathy you begin to feel for the kid. He's been manipulated by his friend to the point of committing an elaborate set of serial murders, and while responsible for his own actions, you almost feel for him. Can you really say any other actor could pull that off? If not for Lillard's inimitable performance, would Scream have spawned countless soulless imitators and redefined the genre as a whole? Or would it be remembered as an outstanding concept that wasn't properly executed? So much of that film's success relied on that role being executed exceptionally, and he exceeded even those expectations. Now a hot commodity in casting circles, in 1998 he appeared in some of the most 1998 movies possible with The Curb, Senseless, and Telling You. Later that same year, however, he was cast as Steve-O in what might still be my favorite role of his in SLC Punk. SLC Punk spoke to the nature of disaffected youth at the time, and did so well. It asserted punk ethos while never being too preachy, although occasionally bordering on obnoxious. Again, Lillard brings an aura of sympathy here to a potentially unsympathetic character. While Steve-O can be an outright asshole, the depth his character is given makes it feel justified. His parents were hippies turned Reagan-era Republicans, and that terrifies him. He sees them as sellouts, and it only motivates him to fall further into the rebellious rabbit hole out of fear of turning into them. This is even referenced in the end with the revelation that he too was a poser all along. Also, anyone not sure of his acting chops needs to go no further than that Heroin Bob scene.
Only posers die, you fucking idiot! Now what are we gonna do for friends? No, I don't have friends!
The next year he'd take a comedic turn as Brock Hudson in She's All That, which has come to be known as one of the most cliche romantic comedies of its era. He plays a douchebag whose social life is propped up by the fact that he appeared on a season of The Real World. He then appeared in a bunch more romantic comedies between 1999 and 2001, including Summer Catch, which features a pre-Texas Chainsaw Jessica Biel. In 2001, he also took the role of Dennis Rathken in 13 Ghosts, a movie that's gained a significant cult following since. He plays a psychic who helps some rich dude find the ghosts he collects, like exotic animals or something. Rich dude dies and leaves his estate in rich nephew's name, and Dennis is only there to get the payment he never received from now dead rich dude. He is absolutely not thrilled to be stuck in this weird postmodern glass hellscape trapped with 13 angry ghosts, even if that one is kind of a babe. No, but really, his being fed up with the other characters throughout is one of my favorite parts of his career, and I just had to mention it here. His very next role, more than likely, however, is what grants him the status of immortality. In 2002, he took up the role as everyone's favorite stoner and potentially omnipotent super being, Shaggy Rogers. I think you'd be pretty hard-pressed to find any actor more born for any role than Matthew Lillard for Shaggy. He nailed the voice, the mannerisms, the carefree spirit of the character to a T. It almost feels as if he's just playing a cartoonish version of himself. He fell in love with the character and it truly became a part of him. I'm sure a majority of you that clicked on this video are aware of his work in Scooby Doo and Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. But did you know that since these two movies, he's appeared in 22 direct-to-video animated Scooby Doo movies and over 200 episodes and 7 TV specials across 3 different iterations of the TV series? That is absolute dedication to the part, time and time again. It's because of this attachment and dedication to this character that so many fans were upset to find out that when 2020's Scoob was casting, they never even reached out to Lillard to play Shaggy. Matthew Lillard deserves better than that. Although, as a side note, the person who eventually took Lillard's place, Will Forte, is also outstanding. In 2004, he then took the role as Jerry Conlon in the critically maligned Without a Paddle. Maybe it's the nostalgia factor because it was one of my favorite movies as a teenager, but really, no. The more I think about it, this movie is super relatable, particularly Lillard's role as a man hitting the downward crest of his prime and struggling to acknowledge it. Wait, not only that, but rewatching it, this movie's funny. I think it became popular to dump on, and that just kind of snowballed, because it does not deserve the hate it gets at all. It's also of note how subdued Lillard's character is compared to other roles. Just to note his versatility again, so far in the movies I've chosen to cover, he's been an easily influenced murderous teen, a rebellious, obnoxious punk trying desperately to avoid becoming his parents, some douchebag coasting off minor TV relevance, a fed-up psychic trying to get a bag and duck some ghosts, a lovable if not spacey burnout, and now a subdued, laid-back man in his mid-30s trying to reconnect to his youth. How can someone shift so drastically while keeping each and every role equally as believable as the other? Around this point, however, Matthew's career hit a lull. He did a few movies and a few TV shows here and there, but for the most part he stayed out of the limelight until 2018 when he was given the career revival he so rightfully deserved, as Dean Bolin in Good Girls. I'm a huge fan of this show. I've already planned out 2 video essays around it, as well as Beth Boland herself, Mrs. Christina Hendrick, getting a turn on Underappreciated later this summer. Lillard's story arc so far, from detestable serial adulterer to a man thrown about in the storm of his partner's sociopathy, has only been strengthened with this season's integrations of flashbacks to a simpler time. These really twist the knife as we can see young love in bloom and some of its unforeseeable consequences juxtaposed together devastatingly. He switches from confident and self-assured to cosmically inquisitive, and this character work almost just feels like a flex at this point. The show is fantastic, and despite being more of a secondary character, he's fantastic in it. But when doing research for this video, I asked people what it was they loved about Matthew Lillard, and a point I agree with kept coming up, and that's his humility. His any other guy personality. It may be hard to remember now, but 20 years ago, he was one of the most in-demand names in Hollywood, but you would have never been able to tell by his demeanor. He's been known to stay for hours past his scheduled time to meet young Scooby fans. Even fans my age have shared countless stories of him stopping to shake hands or take a picture. Despite an impressive career, he's remained level-headed throughout, and that's endeared him in the hearts of many people for a long time. That's it for today, guys. Next week, I'll be doing a video essay on one of my favorite horror movies, Planet Terror. I haven't decided what angle I want to take for it yet, though. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. I'm going to be pumping out a ton of videos in the next couple months. Actually, after the Planet Terror one, I'm doing another horror you probably slept on. This time will be 1989's Intruder. Anyways, until next time, stay safe.